Hey, new lifers, it's Andre and Danny here, two of the leaders, to do a Leaders on Leaders interview. Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're here with guest of honor, Jerry the Fox, as Danny named him.
Yeah, he's my favorite person in the world, even though he's not a person.
All right, Jerry has that effect on people, I guess. But
This
let's get right into it here. Danny, what led you to your decision to come to Penn State?
You know what, Andre? I did not want to come to Penn State at all. It was kind of my safety school, and I just kind of applied on a whim. I'd never even toured the school, but when I came here for interview weekend for the Millennium Scholars Program, I just fell in love with the community that I could see and how welcoming people were. And of course, I knew Jerry was just going to be part of my life in the future if I came to Penn State. So I decided to come, and I have never regretted that decision.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in regards to Penn State, that taste of community where there really feels like there's something here for everybody is definitely something I know I've felt myself as well. And no, it's definitely something that's unique about the school. So I definitely see where you're coming from there.
Yeah. Um, with you, what was a moment that you felt most connected to God on Penn State's campus?
I think there's a lot of moments, and I think that one place in particular is the pond at the Hints Alumni Center. Um, Penn State has a lot of beautiful scenic places on its campus that you can kind of use to escape, and I think that's just one of the places where I've always went, whether it's just kind of meditate on what God's put on my heart, or even to pray, just think about stuff. It's just a really unique place because you're right next to downtown and like other parts of campus, some of the busier spots like even like Old Main's pretty close, but you're kind of like away from everything and secluded off. There's a lot of nature around the pond, and there's usually not a lot of people there. So it's just like a nice, quiet place to be right there, but also to just kind of be away from everything at the same time. And it's just a place where I've had some really good thoughts, some really good conversations with God.
Yeah, I love the Hints because it's also the line ambassador. That's where our office is. So I spent a lot of time there last spring semester. And like when the weather gets nice, all the ducks are in the pond and there's always dogs there. And it's just such a fun place to be.
For sure, absolutely. So what's been your best Penn State memory so far?
So pre-COVID, my like favorite memory was when Penn State played Maryland in basketball, and I went with one of my friends who's actually from Maryland, and he knew a couple of players on the team, and he was able to explain like everything to me and like point out people that he knew. And there was crab fries there, and I absolutely love crab fries. So that was like super exciting for me because it was just like the ideal night. And he's super tall. He's like 6'3", and I like got on his shoulders at one point to try to win a TV. And I won't lie, it was like the scariest thing coming down. Like I had not been that like up high in the air with like no support before. So it was just a lot of fun. And we got to storm the court at the end, and it was just like a surreal experience.
Really glad that you brought up that last part. Love court storming. That's one of the most fun parts about college sports, definitely. Kind of unrelated note. Well, obviously I was there to storm the court that night, and then freshman year I was in the commons area in East with some friends. There was a snowstorm that day. We decided not to go to the game. They were playing Michigan, and they were ahead with about 6 minutes left. So we just booked it from East to the Bryce Jordan Center in the snowstorm and went in at the last second to go storm the court. So definitely a lot of fun memories there. It's something that makes Penn State unique, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the sense of community.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Kind of changing subjects depending on what your answer is. But what was an embarrassing moment from your childhood that shaped who you are today?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always kind of been about sports. I played throughout most of my childhood, even into high school with baseball and whatnot. And I always knew I wanted to incorporate it into like whatever career I pursue. But there was definitely a moment where I realized I was not going to be a professional athlete. I was about 8 years old, soccer match. I'm in defense, trying to pass the ball back to my keeper. There was somebody coming up from behind me on the other team that I didn't realize, so I tried to pass it back to my keeper to clear it, go straight to the right of them into the net, embarrassing own goal. And that was definitely the moment where I crossed off professional athlete on my
Yeah.
aspiring careers list. But yeah, I mean, in that moment, it was really embarrassing. But just to grow off it and learn from it, I knew that I still wanted to be involved in sports, and it kind of helped me start thinking about those other avenues, even at a young age, of like things I could do to be involved in sports, and kind of allowed me to chase down being a broadcast journalism major in college.
Yeah, for sure. I played soccer for a super long time, but funny enough, I was not good my first season when I was like 5 for rec soccer, and the coach actually had to come, which was like just another dad, had to come and talk to my brother after one of the games and be like, she needs to like train and figure out what soccer is before we can like actually play with her. So kind of embarrassing, but it got me this far.
Hey, it led to a long career, so I
Yeah,
guess
that's right.
persistence pays off. But yeah, this will probably be changing the subject. What's one way you've gone closer to God in your time in college?
So obviously college is filled with a lot of maturing and a lot of just trials that are set in place. So I feel like I've grown the most because God has put a lot of things in my way. And being at college, you're away from family, away from the support network that you're used to, and you're building your own new one, and it takes a little bit of time to do that. So and that I feel like a lot of college students will feel solitude, and I just held on to God through all of that, and he was just kind of my anchor while I was going through stuff and transitioning into who I am today. And it's just honestly been incredible to be able to see what a relationship with God can look like and how it's give and take, not just take, take, take. So
No, I mean, definitely, I think what you mentioned there is something that a lot of people can relate to. You know, there's this the closing of old doors and the opening of new ones once you get into college, and I think that's something that a lot of people have experienced. And I think having Christ and having God there to guide you through that is definitely important. So that was definitely a very very good answer on your end.
yeah, totally changing subjects, a much lighter note. Um, I have a question for you. If
Okay.
you're a cartoon character, what cartoon character would you be and why?
This is something that I had to think about for a long time, but I think in certain settings I can be very social. But I think a cartoon character I really identify with would be Ferb from Phineas and Ferb. I watched a lot of that show growing up, and he was always just the guy whenever like there was a big group event going on. Like he wanted to take part in it, but he was always kind of just vibing in the background and not talking a whole lot. And that could be me at times, definitely. So I definitely identify with that. Yeah, I don't know. I can see Ferb and myself at times, especially just kind of trying to be in the background at times, but also have a part to play.
I completely agree. And I think that you're such a pivotal role in everything, but you don't need that recognition. Kind of like Phineas is kind of the attention hog in the show, and everyone like likes Phineas and wants Phineas's attention. But Ferb is really like the essential person who builds everything, is like the brains behind the operation. I feel like that's definitely you in a lot of scenarios. So we're grateful to have you on leadership.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was very sweet, Danny. I appreciate that. Yeah, so we're about out of time here. Do you have anything else to add?
That I will miss Jerry very much, but that's about it.
I'm gonna miss him too when I head back to Penn State, but that's all the time we have. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope you guys take care.
Bye.